Welcome to the Aligned Soul and Purpose podcast, where I empower working women to align their soul with their careers, rediscover themselves, and find joy in womanhood, motherhood, and work. I'm your host, Rosy Marquez, and I'm so excited for you to be here today. If you've ever felt overwhelmed by the hustle, like you're doing and doing and doing, but never truly being, this episode's for you. Today, we're diving into a topic that I believe resonates deeply with so many women: how to reconnect with your soul when you feel lost in the busyness of life. Let me tell you, I've been there. For years, I felt like I was lost, always trying to figure out what made me happy. But I just couldn't figure it out. I spent so much time focusing on being a mom and a wife, two roles that I love deeply, but I lost touch with me. And I kept wondering, what do I actually want? Why can't I answer this simple question of what makes me happy? Anytime that question would come up, literally tears would fall down my face because I didn't know. I didn't know who I was. So it wasn't until I began to reconnect with myself that I realized how important it is to honor your own soul. And now that I'm living a life filled with so much self love and peace, I want to help other women just like you find their way back to their true selves too. Because this feeling, I can't even put into words the difference that it has made in my life. Like, I'm 41 years old, and 39 of those years, I was not happy. So, a little bit about me. I graduated with my bachelor's degree in liberal studies and earned a teaching credential by the age of 21. And it was a pivotal moment in my life because I was a mother of a 2-year-old boy, and I finally felt a sense of security in being able to provide a constant cash flow into our household. My husband and I were both just trying to figure out how to be adults. We started dating at the age of 16. We moved out a month after I turned 18 with no plan. And here I was, finally able to provide a constant in our daily lives. I was also eager to make a difference in my students' lives. A few years later, I pursued my master's degree in curriculum and instruction. I spent over 15 years shaping young minds. I made so many connections with parents and children. It was beautiful. It truly was. I remember so many success stories and very small amounts of things that were challenging because I was truly there with an open heart. Everything that I did was what I knew was best at the time that I did it. And I had an open mind to continue to grow. And I expected everyone around me to have that same mentality of, if what we're doing isn't working, let's try something else. But that was not the case. And over time, I expanded my role because I wanted more. I thought that if I could share with more people around me, something would click and they would want to be the type of teacher that I was. Not because I was perfect, but because I was there 100%. So I became a district curriculum specialist. I also was a site academic coach and a mentor for teachers, both student teachers as well as new teachers. And these roles allowed me to guide other teachers and students in a more meaningful way, fostering growth in both individuals and education systems. It took these roles because I wanted to expand outside of just my classroom. Because many times I would feel that I had so much growth with students, then they would move on to the next grade level and they would regress because that next teacher wasn't there the way I was there for them. And so in these roles, I was able to speak to a lot more people, but unfortunately, many of them, they didn't want to hear it. They were there because they saw an end in mind. They saw this safety net, and that was it. So that negative energy that I could feel from many people just drew me away from it. And then later on, I took a role as an adjunct professor, thinking here we have eager new educators. I want to empower them with the skills that they need to succeed in the classroom. And I was so positive about it. And then they gave me a class of 50 with the majority of people thinking that this class was a waste of time because they couldn't see how it was going to help them in their careers. So again, the system was not there to help us prosper. It was there to check something off. So I decided to leave that as well. And throughout this journey, I learned to connect deeply with a variety of people, help them discover their strengths, because I'm not saying that everybody was negative. There was quite a few people that did want to know better, do better, know more. And I was able to create environments where growth was possible. And during this time, though, I was so focused on improving the education system that I began to realize that my own personal growth was being sidelined. I had become so focused on helping others that I lost touch with my own needs and desires. So that was when I made the decision to pivot my life once again and reconnect with myself. It wasn't easy. I was leaving a 17-year career, a steady paycheck, health benefits, safety. I was leaving it all because I knew God wanted more for me. And during this spiritual awakening, I did a lot of personal work, inner work, facing my shadows, rediscovering what truly made me happy and fulfilled. And now I'm so passionate about helping others do the same thing because it has changed my life. Especially women who, like me, feel disconnected from themselves amidst the hustle and bustle of life. There are so many things that we feel that we need to be doing to prove ourselves. And I did it too. And so now, this inner peace that I feel every day, regardless if it's a day where I just spilled a cup of coffee, where I got pulled over by a highway patrol because I was speeding, it's still a beautiful day. So the first section that I want us to talk about are, what are the signs? Like, how do I even know that I've disconnected from my soul? So, because it's important to identify what these signs are in order to get us back full circle, I want to spend some time talking about this. Here are some signs to look out for. The first sign, you're constantly exhausted even when you sleep enough. When we've disconnected from our soul, even sleep doesn't feel like a real rest. You might be getting enough hours of sleep, but you wake up feeling drained. I was there. This is because you're expending energy on things that don't align with your purpose, leaving you feeling empty and fatigued. Like you're on this cycle every day. I woke up again. I'm still tired. I go to bed earlier. I'm still tired. It's because what we're doing during the day isn't aligning with ourselves. Here's a second sign that you have disconnected from yourself. You're going through the motions, but nothing feels fulfilling. Remember that story that I told you earlier about I did this, I did this, I did this, and I did this, and yet I didn't feel fulfilled. It sounds familiar to you, maybe. You're busy, you're productive, but nothing feels fulfilling. You may have crossed off every item on your to-do list, but you still feel empty, like something's missing. This is a key sign that your soul isn't being nourished in the way that it needs to be. The third sign, you struggle to enjoy the present moment because your mind is always on what's next. How many of you are always thinking about the weekend, about summer break, about spring break, about when I get to go on vacation? Does your mind race through the day, always anticipating what's next? Whether it's a work meeting, picking up the kids, or preparing dinner, you're thinking about the next thing before you even enjoy the moment you're in. This constant forward thinking can prevent us from truly being present with ourselves. I did this for so many years. And one day I realized like all these years have passed and I have achieved all of these things that I said I was going to achieve, and then I was going to be happy, and I wasn't. At that point, that was my night and day. Like, I realized this cannot be it. I cannot be living in the future because the future never gets here. Fourth sign that you're out of alignment. You've stopped doing things just for you. Things that bring you joy, peace, and creativity, they're not on our schedule. When was the last time you did something purely for yourself? If you stopped engaging in hobbies or activities that make you feel alive, like painting, journaling, hiking, or even just sitting in silence, your soul is crying out for attention. These are the moments when we reconnect with who we truly are. And if we're not doing them, or if we can't even identify them, we are out of alignment. Fifth sign that we're out of alignment. You crave change, but you don't even know where to start. Have you ever felt like you want something to change, but you have no idea where to begin? It's like there's a sense of restlessness inside, but the path forward feels unclear. The feeling is common when we're disconnected from our core. Our soul longs for alignment, but the way forward isn't always obvious. And later on, we're going to talk about how we can bring that to the forefront to be able to identify it. Sixth sign that you're out of alignment. You feel like you're losing yourself in the roles that you play. This might be a hard one. For many women, especially mothers and wives, it's easy to lose yourself in the roles you fulfill for others. You start to define yourself only by your work, family, and responsibilities, forgetting that there's so much more to you than those roles. When somebody asks who you are, oh, I'm a mom, I'm a wife, I'm a teacher, I'm a counselor, I'm a surgeon, I'm an accountant, I'm a stay-at-home mom. But that's not you. That's what you do. It's not who you are. Your soul needs more than just doing. It needs being. Who are you? Who are you? Here's a seventh and last sign that you're out of alignment. You feel anxious or overwhelmed, but you don't even know why. Feeling anxious and overwhelmed without a clear reason, that could be your soul's way of telling you that something's out of alignment. We've normalized saying, I have anxiety. I'm so anxious. But why? Why are we anxious? Why do we have this anxiety? Is it possibly because we're always thinking about the future, something that hasn't even happened, and we're worried about it? When we ignore our soul's true desires, it can manifest in anxiety or a feeling of being lost. So don't normalize it. Now that we've talked about the signs of disconnection, let's shift gears to how do we reconnect? So now we've identified that we have these signs happening in our lives. We don't want to live there. How do we change it? Because no matter where you are at right now, there's always a way back to alignment. So here are some powerful ways to start this journey of reconnection. The first one, we're going to start simple. Pause and breathe. When was the last time you took a real deep breath and checked in with yourself? Sometimes all it takes is a pause, a moment of stillness to reconnect with ourselves. So we're going to do it right now. We're going to inhale, counting in our head up to 4. We're going to hold it for 4 seconds, and then we're going to exhale for 6 seconds. Okay? So after, we're going to notice the difference that we're feeling after this simple pause and breathe. So ready? Breathe in. What came up for you? Did you feel any different? Do you feel any different? I know that I do. That warmth coming into my body truly puts me in a different space. Here's a second way that we can reconnect. Ask ourselves, what do I need right now? Not what does your family need, not what does your job need, but what do you need? Often we get so caught up in everybody else's needs that we forget to check in with our own. Whether it's a nap, movement, creativity, or just silence, honoring your soul's needs will lead you back to alignment. This one was screaming at me every day. I would have migraine headaches, like horrible migraine headaches, almost every day. And until I stopped and paused and asked, like, what do I need? And started actually doing what my body was telling me I needed, I was not able to get rid of these migraines. And now I rarely ever have them. Like, I don't even have Tylenol in my house. I couldn't live without it. It was like a vitamin for me because it was necessary for me. And now I don't even have it in my household. The third way to reconnect with ourselves: create soulful moments in our day. Reconnecting with ourselves doesn't have to be a huge life overhaul. It's about creating small, meaningful moments that feed our soul throughout the day. Maybe it's enjoying a cup of coffee, a cup of tea, taking a walk outside, journaling for 5 minutes. These moments don't have to be long, but they do need to be intentional. Be intentional with the events that you are living. Fourth way to reconnect: spend time in nature. Nature has an incredible way of grounding us. When you're feeling lost or disconnected, step outside. Feel the sun on your face. Feel the grass on your feet. Breathe in fresh air. And allow nature to help you come back to yourself. Even a short walk can help you reconnect with your body and soul. Fifth way to reconnect: let go of the shoulds. Do you ever feel like you're constantly living by the shoulds of life? The shoulds are the things that we do out of obligation, not inspiration. This leads to burnout and disconnection. Start noticing when you're doing things because you should. Notice the feeling that you have. Even when we just say, I have to do this, I should be doing this, instead of I want to do this, I get to do this. And you can see where a shift in your actions will help you align with what you want to do. So now, before we wrap up this episode, I want to leave you with the practice you can use anytime you feel disconnected from your soul. It's called the 3-minute soul check-in. Here's how it works. First, find a quiet space, even if it's just a bathroom for a minute. Close your eyes and take 3 deep breaths. Place your hand on your heart and ask, what does my soul need right now? Step number 4, listen. Don't force an answer. Just notice what comes up. Maybe nothing comes up. Maybe a lot of things come up. Just let it happen. Your body will tell you what it needs. And step number 5, take one small action to honor that need. Make sure that you take a small action to honor it, because then what's the point if you're not going to take action? And that's it. Just 3 minutes can help bring you back into alignment. So I hope that today's episode helped you understand the signs of disconnection and gave you some practical ways to reconnect with your soul. Remember, your soul is never lost. It's always there waiting for you to slow down and listen. If today's episode resonated with you, I'd love to hear your thoughts. Screenshot this episode, share it on Instagram, and tag me at Aligned Soul and Purpose. Let me know your biggest takeaways. and how you've been able to reconnect with your soul. Find me on Facebook, under my name, Rosy Marquez. And if you're craving more support on this journey, be sure to subscribe to the podcast so you never miss an episode. DM me. Let's keep chatting. Until next time, take a deep breath, honor your soul, and remember, you're exactly where you need to be. Bye, guys.